Hello, please also say hi if you are already here. Welcome to join our live stream. Today's topic is top CEO in China. Hello, thank you so much for your thought. If you are interested in our topic, if you like it, please also don't forget to give us a like. Yeah. Hello Q, welcome to join us. Okay, welcome to join HiTouch live stream. I'm Vivian, consultant manager of HiTouch. Thank you for so much new friends here. Don't forget, if you are new here, don't forget to follow our channel and give us a like, because we have a lot of different topics to share it. And today is a very special day. Yeah, today is our first episode of our new topic, top CEO in China. So we are now here is Vivian from HiTouch. Welcome all the friends. Welcome Laura. Hello. Thank you so much for the flowers from Olivia. Thank you. Oh, Sa'ayan says very beautiful Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is our old friends. Yeah. So since so many new friends and old friends is here, let me just give a little bit introduction about our topic today. Yeah, our topic today is a new topic, Top CEO in China. Top CEO in China is a special program which built by HiTouch Consulting. It's mainly for the CEOs and business leaders who are running the business in China to share their successful experience and also discuss more market opportunities and challenge. Of course, it's a very good opportunity to do and connect a global resource. So before we start, don't forget to give us a like and follow HiTouch channel. Thank you so much. So at this moment, with great honor, I would like to introduce to you our two distinguished guests tonight. Our honored guest, Mr. Sharaf Kazai, CEO of PV-Link Energy Group, with 40 years experience in global trade. And also our professional guest, Ms. Julie, CPA and tax expert from HiTouch. Welcome both. Welcome so much. And maybe we also can say hi and give a self-introduction to our audience.
Sure.
Thank you, Sharon. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Julie, and I'm the tax expert in HiTouch. I'm really happy to be here with you tonight. And I hope that next 2 hours, maybe we can share with you so many valuable points and maybe some opinions. And I hope that we can enjoy the time together. And also, maybe I can introduce myself a little bit. I actually work overseas for so many years, and doing the thing is to provide professional advices for my clients. And later, I can share much more about the taxations in China and also maybe in Europe and Middle East, how it's different and things like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you for Julie's introduction, and also Ms. Sharaf can say hi to our audience.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Sharaf Kazai. I'm actually works in SGS for 22 years. Because somebody asked originally I'm Iranian. I live in Canada, I work in Germany and China. So, and after SGS, I started my own business for nearly 23 years now. And I have PV-Link Energies in China, in Dubai, and in Turkey. We have another company called VDFi, which is in the automotive business, like EVs and plug-in hybrid for Middle East, sourcing from China. We'll be more than happy to share my experience and answer any questions if I can be help for any company which is wanted to deal with China and also dealing with the Europe and Middle East based on my experience.
Thank you so much for both of you's wonderful introduction. I saw already have some audience have shared some comments to you. They say Mr. Sharaf is so handsome. Yeah. Right. If you have any source and ideas, don't forget to leave us. Feel free to leave us in the comment chat. We will answer you one by one during the live show. Yeah. Okay. So I believe so many audiences cannot wait to hear more significant sharing from Mr. Sharaf today. Yeah.
Do we need to like to adjust to the screen a little bit? Because
Yeah, maybe our assistant can see the screen.
so how
Now
fast
we
you
cannot see ourselves now. Yeah, maybe you can press some button. I'm not sure the audience can see us or not. Hello?
is that good?
So if everybody can see us, they can just say yes, so we can know it is what you have.
Yeah. Can you see us now? If it's okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So we can keep talking about our topic today. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone. Okay. So let's talk about something about the business today.
Yes.
Because I believe so many clients is waiting to hear the insight from Mr. Sharaf. Yeah. So first, I want to know, Mr. Sharaf, since you have 40 years experience, such a rich experience, and I believe you make a very remarkable achievement in the business, especially for international trade. Yeah. If capture your 40 years journey in 3 words, what do you think it will be?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. First, I can actually set the 3 major words or 3 major topics. It could be adaptability, and it could be integrities and relationships. So I worked in SGS for 22 years when I do the introduction. It's helped me a lot to gain experience in a very systematic company which is based in Switzerland. And you know, the Swiss people is always well known for the standard and the way the system works in the workplace. So based on that experience and gaining so much gain in SGS, I started my own business in 2005. Now recently I'm working in Germany, UAE, Turkey, and also China. And as you are well aware, China is one of the hubs at the moment for most of the business worldwide. So that's the way I adapt myself to the way of the quality and quantity, became a trading company with those experience. And then integrity. Integrity is the trust. Basically, you have a trust with the people, and this is some currency which cannot be devaluated. And always the trust is the main in the trading business. I can say it's most of the business, but trading is one of them. And finally is relationship. Every business is based on the relationship. So if you have a good relationship, you can build up your trust, you can build up your business, and that's the way we can look at in the whole trading business. I think these are the things I can say that. We can talk about each of the topic in more details, but I believe that that's a main case. Maybe you can add something on this?
Yes, I think I really agree with you about adaptability and integrity. There's so many things that we really think that is really important. So for the adaptability, I think from my personal working experience, I actually worked in Australia so many years ago and to do the tax and finance consulting. And after that, I joined a state enterprise company, which is really large. I'm doing the investments and audit. After that, I moved to Hong Kong and to doing the private wealth management things and international tax consulting. So when I recall back all these things, I can see like different country, different regions, and basically the clients is really like the range is really far, like it's really big. So it's from like individual, business, and also maybe government bodies. So in this part, I think that it's really, really important to say like adaptability, because there are different cultures and they are they have different disciplines. So it's very important saying like the open-minded adaptability, and the third one maybe is really quick to learn. Yeah, so especially now we have so many changes in the world. Yeah,
It's great words, of course. Yeah, thank you so much for both sharing. Yeah, and this is a really foundation of the business operation. Yeah. So, Mr. Sharaf, could you also give a brief overview of the current business
Yes, I wanted before to go to that part, say if any question that the people wanted to ask about the business or the topic you are having, so you are welcome to ask. We are ready to available and talk about those topics which is more interesting to the audience. It's, our business today is the PV Energies. We have a company registered in China, in UAE, in Turkey, and we are actually trading fertilizer and petrochemicals in the regions. So you know the food security is more important in the world, and one of the major product which is related to food security is fertilizer, and that's one of the major business we do. And of course, you may know that China have a quota and also some duration for export of the fertilizer. So if somebody interested to export from China, should be adapted for that kind of the business. But anyway, so right now with the situation in the Middle East, so fertilizer market became booming, and that's a situation. And the other business we do is the automobile business, which is a car business, and definitely you have heard 70% of the world production EV is done in China, and this is also showing how China has been growing in the past, and that's the way we're looking forward for the automobile business. For the Middle East, for the Europe and the other places of the world. And recently also there is a contract signed between Canada and China regarding importing of the EV, and that's another opportunity for the China export market. So it's the people looking at that kind of the business, living in North America, I think that's the time we should start looking at that business as well.
Okay. Any ideas from Julie?
I'm just really impressed by all this business and all your thoughts, really insightful.
Yes, right. As also we can see that PV-Link's business cover from China to Middle East and also Europe. So in fact, what comes to your mind for these different markets?
It's, we can say the different market like the continent. We can talk about the East market like China is, we can say, speed and volatility right now. Because the way moving forward, it's unbelievable, I can say. I've been in China in 2007, and now I'm actually back in China last year. It's the changes is so much. Maybe you live in China, you cannot actually see it, but when somebody comes from outside, can actually feel the whole growth and the speed in China. It's recently we traveled with the China train between the two cities. It was 350 to 400 kilometers per hour, and I believe there is a new one 600 kilometers. So the way the China actually moved is unbelievable. So I can say China and the east part of the world is the speed. When we talk about the Middle East, it's connectivity, because the Middle East is actually a hub between the east and the west. So the way UAE's Saudi Arabia, the whole Gulf region is working. It's like became like a bridge between these countries. So I know that situation right now in Middle East is different at the moment, but if you look at the past and you look at also in the future, that is the whole connectivity between this the region and the Middle East as well as the West and the East. If we talk about the Europe, because the first company I worked with was Swiss company, we talk about the standard, talk about the compliance certifications, contractual, even the whole arbitration business, which is mainly based in London or is in Netherlands, those things which is like in Europe. So basically we can say systematic standard compatibility is for the Europe. And if you look at the North America and South America on that side, we talk about the resources and the market. Although the situation is changing worldwide because of the whole social media and everything, but still the source of agriculture could be Canada and the watery future. But that will be one of the big challenges everybody will face. The future is the fresh water, which is so much is in Canada. And also the big market, because the whole market in USA, in Canada, and also the South America is a big market. So if we come to decide these four categories, I think we can majorly see what is the global trading market and it is today. One of the questions was how to contact me. I believe it's already available in iTunes, so you can later on just contact to us and to our company.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw I have one, there is one customer already asking one question. Please, our assistant maybe can show us our audience the question, please. I remember it's from one audience is called Mr. I don't know, Mr. or Mrs. Songwin. He's asking one very interesting questions about Mr. Sharof's business journey, I think. Yeah, I remember the question is something like, how can you keep going for this 40 years experience and 40 years for the business journey? Do you have a thing about to give up? Something like that. I think it's a very interesting question.
It's-
That's why I have.
Okay, so most of the male audience, they know the man never give up. So the man always working. So that is happening. These days, I cannot say the man's a woman because really there is no crossroad between them at the moment. Even so many women I know in the business, which is much better than us in the trading business. But usually, as somebody take care of the family, they're always working on the way of the supporting the families and the business and continuously. In the meantime, this is one of the idea I always have is passing my experience to the other people. You can call to all of my colleagues in the last 40 years. This is one of the things I always sharing what I have to give it to the next level, and they can grow up because I cannot take it with me. Either I have to write the books or I have actually to just pass those experiences, which is my preference is this way. So anybody has any question about even the trade from me, I will be 100% transparent because I believe the world is much bigger than what we think, and you cannot just hide anything from anybody, especially these days. So the social media, the news and everything. So finding the suppliers, finding the buyer is very easy at the moment. Look at 20 years ago, it was so difficult. We had just a telex and a fax and that sort of thing. So it was nearly impossible. So I think the world is changing, but anyway, that's the way to adapt yourself with the business and to keep going. Otherwise, they have to take it with me, so I don't want to.
Yeah, and there is a really important point is that the trust. You give the trust to people, right? And that's just really good too. You just have a really healthy relationship with them and have the partnership.
It's really
Sharing is caring, basically. You have to actually share what you know. It is not something you wanted to keep it with you. Everybody's in the whole trading business, in the factories, in the manufacturer. They have to start sharing. Look at the whole production facility. If the production facility, the manager will not share the information for the other level, what will happen to the whole production? There is no way they can grow up. And also the manager cannot grow up. If you share everything with the next level, you go another level up. And that's the way looking for every business, every trade and every business. You want to grow up, you have to share your experience.
Yes, right. So thank you so much for the impressive sharing. Yeah, so if you have more questions, please feel free to ask us. Yeah, we are ready to answer your questions. And if anyone have any other questions, please let me know and let us know. Hello? Yeah, and we cannot see the screenshot now. Maybe a little bit adjust now. Okay, so one audience is asking, is there any more introduction about PV-Link?
PV-Link Energy is a company which is, as I said, working on the petrochemicals and the fertilizer. We also do the trading in agricultural commodity in the larger scale. So it's that's the way it is. If you wanted to working on that kind of the business, trading with China, with UAE, with the Europe, so we are available to help. As I said, the trading is no longer is that kind of the facility. You have to have your buyers, you have to have your supply, and you have to have your trust basis contract basically. That's the way it's looking. You already mentioned very well about the sharing and also the way which is looking in the trade business. I think that's the way it is. But any more questions specifically about our company can be asked and we're ready to answer. So my colleague will be in touch. Just send us the question, we will answer accordingly.
Yeah, we saw so many questions just now. yeah, maybe we can look back a little bit for the questions which us asking. Okay,
Okay,
one other is asking, hi, Mr. Sharaf, how do you bond your customers in Middle East?
They
You usually,
we couldn't see.
yeah, we couldn't see the full,
Yeah.
the full
You have
question.
to see the full question first.
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
answer that, yes.
So I think this all is asking for the Middle East clients.
Bonding, I think.
Bonding.
Yeah. How to find the clients and how to have a good relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically, even founding client doesn't matter where it is, it's the Middle East or others. So there is a different cultures in the regions, and we will come to that one, I think, in future. But finding the client is one part. Trusting the client is the second part, and also the way you go forward with them. So 2 days we cannot say we works on the website only, because you have to make sure you actually see the person you are in charge with.
Like
It's not
face-to-face.
sending a message and get the reply and say this one. So it is not the way it's working. You can visit the website, you can actually see them, you can talk to them, but the best thing I can always offer is go and meet them or let them meet you. Then actually you start bonding between your suppliers and your client and your buyer. That's the only way you can start in trusting each other. And that's will be the bond. It doesn't matter if it's in the Middle East or it's somewhere else, but we do it this way. As I explained in the beginning, so letter of credit is part of the business we used to be in the past, it's still available. But mainly the people should trust each other. When trust is not available, even the letter of credit cannot work. It may have some bonding, some insurance on your business, but at the end of the day, trust is something which is you always should build up.
I totally agree with Mr. Sharaf. And also, Mr. Shimai is asking, what challenge you have met when you start up your business in different areas of the world?
So challenge is always there. I always said the manager is available to solve the challenges, and that's the way we actually survive. So every location you go is a different location. When we say, when I came to China, so I have to know how should I start in China? What kind of the company should register? How can I start that business? The same thing when I went to the Turkey. So I came from China because so many people look at us right now. So the first thing we did, we're looking for a professional groups which is helping us, give us an advice, like iTouch. I'm not saying because iTouch did the interview today, but this is one of the best things. The same company available in Turkey, for example, and we talked to them when we wanted to register in Turkey. So when you come to the iTouch, you ask the question, okay, this is my business, this is what I'm going to do, and how you can help me. So the iTouch will tell you, okay, this is your basic business, it's better you register your company in motherland in China, or it's better you register your company in Hong Kong, or it's better you do it in Singapore, or that sort of thing. So when you got this advice, then you actually digest it with you, speaking with your partners, and then say, okay, this is the best way for us to move forward. And then another thing which I can add is the tax. This is not my specialty, it's actually yours, but basically it's the same thing. And maybe you can explain how actually you go to a new country and start with the tax business.
Yes, I think when you talk about like China, Europe, and Middle East, there's so many different markets and there's so many different countries. So basically, like when we really need to get into the new markets, there's so many things we need to think about. Especially like I see there is one question like the foreign companies when they invest in China and how, what mistake they may make. And maybe there are some things like they need to consider about. So I can share some information like nowadays in China, the tax regulations is getting much more straighter and straighter. So for example, like in 2026, and there is the new VAT law. Actually, this new VAT law gives much more things like the expectations for the clients and let the tax rates much more standards. And there's some good news. So, and also there's some, in the history, people, especially for the buyers, they don't know how to get invoices. But that is really, really important for doing business in China. Because if you don't have the invoices, you couldn't do like the VAT deductions correctly, especially when the story would be like we buying and purchasing goods from China and then export to United States or maybe other countries. So it's really important when we do the export things legally. Yeah, so
I totally agree with you. I think this is when I actually gained this information. When I came to China, we wanted to buy something locally and exporting it ourselves. And then we find out this is actually one of the challenges we have.
Yes.
The tax internally and the tax for export. And how you can actually get the returns of the tax again in the future.
exactly.
This is one of the major things. If somebody wanted to export from China, my really suggestion is talk to the expert, make sure you're doing it legally. And it is also the China internally is a big market, but also exporting from China is one of the big challenges as well. So you know where are you stand, how you are in the tax business stand. And if you even pay taxes in China, you may be ready to get it back in Germany or getting back in Canada because there is a tax regime between these two countries. So these are the major important things when you don't know the country and you come here, it's better to talk to the expert people and then you gain the information before you do that. I believe in so many cases we talk to Hightouch through the good relationship here, and this is really helpful to start the business. I mean, there is so many questions, so
Yes.
we have to just go one by one.
Yes, I believe so many audiences are interested about today's topic, and I saw so many questions in our comment chat. So don't worry, we will look at the questions one by one and answer your questions one by one. Yeah, and just now we already saw the hear from Mr. Shawab's very practical sharing. So maybe you can look at the next questions. This question is from Wu Xihua. How can I find the experts?
Now, I think you can answer this one better
Yes.
than me because so you already expert in this one, and I have only experience in some of the countries. So let's Julie answer to that one.
Yes, how can I find the experts? First, Hightouch is the cross-border experts in China. We are ready to provide you the service of your business needs. So if you have any questions and more stories, please feel free to leave us a message, and you also can contact our assistant. Yeah. First, just follow Hightouch channel, WeChat channel, and also we will have the consultant to reply your questions one by one.
I can add to the Julie's speeches regarding any other countries be looking for the company like Hightouch. If the Hightouch is available on those companies, you can use them. But in case, for example, you wanted to go to Europe and you don't know how to actually do that one,
Yes.
looking for the companies like consultancies and the people who already have experience,
Yes.
experience in the registration of the company, of how actually you're dealing with the tax and everything like that. So
Yeah.
that's the best way when you want to start on the scratch, you want to start a business in any other country, that is the best way to do that.
Right. Now we have one audience asking about the European customer. How about European customer? I'm very interested in this one.
So European customers, basically when you wanted to export, I mean, if it is from China exporting to the Europe, there is so many things to become plus. What I did personally myself, when we started receiving orders from the Europe, the first thing you have to ask is, okay, what is the compliance requirement? What kind of the certificate European want? Do we have the certificate available or not? Either it is a machinery or agricultural commodities or any other commodity, you should make sure you can import it to the European country. So there is two ways of that one. First, if you got experience from the company already have experience. Or second, you can ask actually the the customs clearance agents in those countries. You can ask the customs clearance agent, for example, in Germany or in Netherlands, okay, what kind of the document I need to export this product to the
Yes.
Europe? And when you got those documents, then you can talk to your supplier. Do you have this kind of the document? I can give you an example. We received a request from Germany to export some agricultural commodities from China to the Germany. So when we ask from the Germany, they give us the list of documents they needed. We pass it to the suppliers, and he said, we tried before in Germany, it was so difficult to see the pesticide residue. So we are not able to export from China that kind of product to Germany. So you already know the answer. So it's better you look somewhere else. Or if you want a seed insisting from China, so you have to make sure you meet the criteria of the importing in Germany as well.
Okay, yeah, thank you for Mr. Shara sharing. I believe the clients already learned a lot, yeah, from his experience. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Yeah, we are looking in our comment check room one by one.
Doing the furniture business.
Okay, so Mr. Sonia is asking, I'm doing some furniture business. Now market seems better than before, right?
Yeah, definitely. After the war in the Middle East, so you have so many furniture already gone out in the market. So it's better you actually be ready. It's coming up, that's for sure.
I also have a client which is doing the home decorations and some detail services, things like that. And also is the furniture market in Europe. They are doing really, really well. The revenue maybe is like 10 billions or over.
Billions, okay.
Yes, billions. And then I also shared a little bit about this example because previously we talked about Europe and all the compliance regulations in Europe. Actually, I think that this market is really strict, really standardized. And people went into that one. You mentioned about the logistics, right? So you need to find someone who is maybe the agency, and then they can help you to get the goods import into maybe Germany, maybe Netherlands, right? Especially for Netherlands, which is the logistics hub for the whole Europe. But the point is, in my case, I have a client who are doing that, and actually they are made so much troubles into the Europe markets because when they're doing so, the forwarder, the logistic forwarder agency, just help them to directly to claim a VAT like the reverse charge. That is regulations in Europe, and to apply for this one, which is a good gesture, but they don't know about from the Dutch tax authority and tax law. Actually, you need to have like the 23 article license to get this. They just don't know about that and they claim it. So in this case, they actually to receive after that, they receive the letter, the audit letter from the tax authorities in the local. So it actually cost them so much. So I just give a little small examples about that one. But to remind you guys that it's really, really important to know the law or maybe the regulations before you really enter into the new market.
Okay.
There was a question regarding how can I be a registered company in China, what is the tax thing? So I think you can get in touch with the high touch. That is the best thing we already did ourselves. So if you're leaving my experience after 40 years coming here, so that's the best place you can do. And so that is, I can advise for any accounting, tax, internal tax, high touch is the one can assist you. I think maybe we can also appoint the tax lawyers to do it for you, but my suggestion is the high touch.
Right, thank you so much, Mr. Shawar. Of course, high touch will be ready to give you service. Yeah, actually, high touch was established in 2009. This year is our 17 years. Yeah, our services include cross-border investment with ODI and FDI, and also global company, tax consulting, and compliance service and planning. Yeah, so if you have any needs of the business registration or the maintenance of the company, feel free to contact us. Yeah, and I saw our audience is very active today.
Yes.
Keep asking many questions, and one audience is asking, "Hi, Mr. Sharaf, how do you find the clients in new market?" Oh, this is a very good question.
Yes.
So many clients want to hear about this.
Basically, I can say there is two kind of the company asking this question. Either is a production company, and either is a trading company. So basically, if it is a production company, most probably they already have matured market internally to looking actually go outside. My first idea for anybody have the production facility is look at your country first. I know some of the countries have a tax regime, or some of the company has the exchange related business, so they wanted to looking for the foreign currency. If this is the case and still you're looking for outside of the market, So the best way is on the website, trusting agents, and then you meet them. First, when I actually left SGS, I started my own business. It's like the business I'm sharing with you. So I wanted to start the business to buy the rice from India. So I have no idea how to find a client in India and actually supply for me. Plus, I have to trust them. So what I did, I called my old colleague in SGS and asked them, okay, which company was the biggest exporters of rice in India? So they give me an idea, okay, these are the 5 top exporters from India.
The least, right?
Yeah, they give me the 5 lists. It was not confidential, it's just that you can actually available in custom tariff as well. Also, India providing this information freely. So you go to the custom declarations board and you get some information by the Excel sheet, and you see what kind of the business you're looking for. So then I found those 5 companies, I started meeting them. So I went to the India, I stayed for 7 days, meet each and every one of them, talk to them, and then find the one which is good for me. If you're looking for the new market, so find the sources, could be website, could be Chamber of Commerce, could be the company like SGS or like HighCharge or another consultancy to give you those information. At the end of the day, it's your decision to sell to that company, but be careful. Make sure you already meet them. Do not rely on the websites only. Make sure you already have the experience and also get some sort of the financial, which is possible to work with them. And also mainly look at the comment, basically the bad comment, not the good comment. But when you get the bad comment, you see how this company actually is good or bad. And then you see, still you make a decision even if there is a bad comment because somebody maybe don't like them to say. But that is basically is your guts and your experience to tell you this is the way to looking forward. And the second suggestion is go slowly. Do not go for the big amount of the cargo to move. Start slowly. Just make sure if you're losing, you lose a small one. And if you're gaining, you're gaining a small one. And then you can build up your relationship with the next level.
Really inspiring for the answer,
Yeah, so it's much more like a due diligence before you do have the corporations relationships, to know your clients, to know your suppliers, right?
That's a KYC everybody should do.
Yes.
You look at yourself like a bank. So how the banks give you a credit? They check you everywhere.
one by one.
So everything, what you did, what is your credit record? How much did you pay before? How much did you loan? What kind of the business you have? Okay, you have a mortgage, you don't have a mortgage. So these are the bank system. So if you're doing a trade, you have to start exactly the same way, in a different way, which is like a trading. So you can trust this company either to export to import. Yes.
To make the full resolution.
Exactly.
And we can see one question says, I remember one name also say my name, which is the audience called Vivian. She's asking, would you please share your perspective for this trend of moving the left and plant to China? Right? So I think that she's asking about your perspective for the trend to moving.
It's basically investment. They are looking for the investing in China. So it depends from country you ask me this question because in some of the country, for example, I can say that in the car business, because part of our specialty, there is so many companies already invested in China and they get a benefit. We talk about the billion people in China and it's a big market for the car business.
Yes.
So if you look at every car business, most of the major shareholders in the car business is also European and USA. They already have some 51%, 49% of the share in every company. So moving the plant in China is a good idea, depends to the production you have. The big market already available. But again, I have to say, before you move anything, before you do anything, you have to make sure why I'm going to do that. Where are you based? If you're moving, for example, your production facility from the South America to here, I don't suggest that because it's already big market in South America already. You don't have to actually move. First, look at your productions market internally. If you could not find that market, If you fill up your glasses, then you can come to the exporting facility. But in the other side, investing in China, I can suggest it. And there is some do or not to do. It's what we were just going to also talk about it is the banking system in China. It's not that easy. You start getting a mortgage or getting loan and those sort of things, especially for the foreigners and the foreign registered country. But I think the China will move to that level because the way I see the China is moving, I believe the government already addressing this point. Because right now the whole system of the payment, like Alipay, WeChat, everything, is one generation ahead of the world model. I just show in the business meeting with some people, I bring my wallet, I see maybe 20 cards I have. And that's 20 cards from different banks and different credit. So I have to use a different one in Germany, different one in Canada, everywhere. But it's in China, so you already have Alipay, WeChat, you don't even have to bring the card with you.
Yeah.
And that is fantastic. I can say I congratulate the government for that kind of way. Plus is the controlling, plus is no cheatings anymore. These are all good. But when you go to the corporation banking system, I can say it's premature business. So any banks meeting I already have, I told them, you have to move forward. This is not the way to do the corporate business. And China already has so much resources.
Right. There is one Chinese audience is asking Mr. Sharaf, do you have any suggestions trading in Middle East? Yeah, because you know now so many domestic Chinese companies, they are willing to invest overseas. Yeah, so they're also seeking any opportunities in Middle East.
And again, the same thing. It doesn't matter you move where you wanted to move. First of all, if you, as I said, if your cup is already full, so you need a new market, you have to go to visit that market yourself. And you always should have some partners for you. You cannot just go to the market and start a business like what you want to do. I came to China, it's like imagine I went to the Middle East. So I came to China with no knowledge. I looked at the whole China business. I found the consultancy. I registered my own company. Then I started building relationship with the people which I'm actually meeting there. So when you move to the Middle East, it's the same concept. You go over there, you either register your company, find the people you wanted to work. You don't want partners, you have to hire employees. So find the good employees looking for your business. And then again come the trust, come to the integrity of the people looking for you. So if you move there, then you will actually start in your own business.
Very good concept.
So the point is that you need to get there and
Yeah.
you meet the
You
local
need to
people.
see what is
face to
happening
face.
in
Yes.
the Middle East first. Yeah, do some research there.
Yes.
Yeah, see the people there, see the environments there, so before you start off the business. Yeah, this is also very inspiring. Great. Yeah. So many questions is waiting now, so we can see through one by one. So Mr. Shumei is asking, how do you keep the balance of the strategic planning, effective communication, and how can I see to share the full questions? Because we cannot see the full questions. Maybe our assistant can help a little bit to see
Oh, the experience of the leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you share your experience of the leadership? Okay.
So basically, it's not making the balance. It's actually the balance will come if you actually have those kind of experience. And if you don't have that kind of experience, you have to hire the people who already have experience. Yes, I think one of the leaders in the market told me, I don't have to have all of the knowledge myself. I have to have a knowledge to find the people that already have those knowledge. So I'm not basically knows everything. As I explained it earlier, I have no knowledge of the taxing, and that's the way I actually hire the people who knows about taxing. If there is a claim against my company, what I do, I find a good lawyer to actually do it.
Yes,
I'm not actually
exactly.
going to ChatGPT and find what I'm going to answer, what I'm going to reply. So you need the lawyers to do that. Even if you wanted to check the lawyer with ChatGPT, still you can do. But you need the source of the experience, source of the knowledge, which you can rely on that one. So the balance is already come. The leadership is two things: relationship with your staff, integrity with your staff. So make sure you can trust your staff. Make sure you actually find the people you can work with and treat them well. In all of the company I work with, I treat all of my staff like myself. It's like a family. We have a rules. We make a mistakes. We learn from the mistakes, but definitely it never happen again. So that's the only way. I can say sharing something which I gained from the SGS time is calling the corrective actions and preventive actions. So basically, there is problems happens. Everybody have this kind of a mistake. So the problem happens. What do? Immediately you control the damage. You keep whatever is happening. Exactly.
Yes.
So as soon as you've done it, the action is done. So the damage is controlled. Then what you do? You make sure never happen again.
Yeah.
So that you have to write on the systematic work why these things happen, and if it is happened in the future, what I'm going to do. So that is the way to looking forward. We can give you a very simple dinner experience. So my colleague actually here, you can see that. So we went to the dinner with the people, and we wanted to order a wine. We already have our own wine, which is we choose, and it was a white one. So white wine should be always cool, yes?
White wine.
White wine, yes.
Always
Okay.
wine.
It always should be cool. So what we did, we went to the meeting with the dinner, and the waiter came to us and said, "Your wine is not cool." So, oh my God! So what we can do? We have a guest available. We have to start it. So the damage control, he said, "Okay, bring one of your cool wine for us," and that's a damage control. So immediately the guys bring the wine. So we order and put our own wine in the fridge, so we can cold. So what will happen to never happen again? So make sure, okay, from now on, when we want to go for dinner, so make sure we have the wine if it is red, room temperature, if it's not, cool. So that is the preventive, very simple answers and very simple corrective way you can actually do for all of your business.
Right. Very
Exactly.
valuable sharing. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and one audience is asking, are there any favorable tax rules for doing business in Europe? I think this question is more for Ms. Julie.
Okay. Is there any favorable tax rules for doing business in Europe? I think, to be honest, in Europe, the tax rules there, the regulations there are really strict. But certainly there is some favorable mechanisms that we can see. The one really famous, I think, is the reverse charge. That one is really convenient for people to use it, because when you're doing the selling, the VAT, which is the value-added tax, is really important when we're doing that. But this reverse charge can easily, if you use that, okay, it can be really easily to just let your buyer to do all the obligations. For example, like declare the tax, to pay the tax, okay, it's not your obligations anymore if you are the seller. So that is the whole mechanisms like.
Like I said, never tax is favorable. So
Yes,
tax is favorable
yes,
for the
either on
that's
this
only.
one or either at that one. Yeah. So the point is, it actually helps people, especially the seller, if you want to sell the products in Europe, it can help you with your cash flow. Yeah.
I can add something on the tax regime everywhere. So you have to, if you are starting a company and you want it to be a big company, so you follow the tax regime. You cannot bypass it. If you bypass
Exactly.
it, you are not actually eligible to become much bigger. So there is a way always to hire a consultant to tell you what you can do, what you cannot do. And also not bypassing it, but actually learning what I can do for this business, like for example, China, when you have the internal taxes when you export, and how you can do it a different way. So that's the only way. But my suggestion, based on my experience, always hire people which is expert in the tax. If you're planning to grow your company, and if you're planning in the big ways on the business in any country.
Yes, I think it's really great views, especially for long term. Yeah, if you want to get the company bigger and bigger, especially for long term running. So that is really important that you do the company legally and compliance in all compliance. It's not like you think about that maybe I can evade that tax, or maybe that one is not a good way to do.
Right. So we should follow the policies and the taxation regulations of that countries or areas like this.
There is two kind of the company, which is the company is growing and the company which is just coming and going. So if you're planning to have a company which is start growing, follow the tax regime in every country you go and make sure you have hired the best one you can.
Right, this is very important for all the business investors. And we can see Vivian is asking one question for recent conflict in Middle East, how to lower and diversify the overall risk. And it is hard to arrange the supply chain. Yeah, I believe this is the many of our clients is facing the same situation since the Middle East escalation situation is quite changeable and attach a lot of eyes on these matters. Yeah. So any ideas about this question?
Because I've actually come from Middle East, so I can actually explain that one. So the Middle East is always something which is not predictable. So it's not even 2 days. It was even in Iran-Iraq war. It was in the 2008 crisis. All these things happening around the world. So 2 days, I can say the old way of the book is not working anymore. So basically, with the whole situation in the social media, the news and everything, you have to follow. And a little bit luck as well is needed. But how to actually mitigate your risk, how you actually take care of that part. I can say based on my experience, first of all, make sure do not move your cargo without insurance. For any other reason, go for Class A insurance and make sure, even if it is not in a war, so make the war insurance as well. Because not even the Middle East. I mean, you pay a little bit extra, you think you are saving, but at the end of the day, there is no saving. It is based on my experience. And so that's the one part. And also the other risk available is just, right now, if somebody wanted to give an offer, even us, for example, first we do X work at the moment. We don't do anything like a freight because you don't know what is the freight tomorrow. And you don't know what's happening there. So we come back to my first word in the beginning, is adaptability. So actually you can adapt yourself with the situation and you can move your cargo, you can stop your cargo, you can, for example, my cargo is on the way to the Middle East. I cannot discharge it in UAE, which was that one. So I have to permit my captain to discharge it in Oman, to discharge it in other countries. So wait until the conflict is going on. Although it is a little bit costly, because you have to just drop it and take it back again. It is definitely, but it's part of the solution. I cannot say you will do it today, but you have to think about it, like a damage control. That's happening. You control your damage, so then make sure it is already insured, a little bit extra, and finally you can ask it from either your insurance company or from your buyer, or even share the cost to them. If it is a long-term buyer, definitely we'll accept the situation because anyways, nobody ready to pay the demurrages for the cargo which is there. I have one experience earlier. We had a cargo wanted to discharge and that was not possible. And then we called our insurance company and we said, this is the war situation right now. It was, I think, 8 months ago war. And the insurance company said, war officially has not been declared. So we don't accepting it as a war. But it was maybe the operation, military operation. So it was not war according to my insurance company. So what I did, I said, okay, fine, we discharge the cargo, we take the damage control, and then later on we claim the insurance company. We said, based on this situation, you cannot keep your cargo available over there. Also, there is no war declared, but you can see there is a bomb is already coming. So you cannot just interpret it based on the contract. Either you don't pay us now, we don't work with you anymore, or you pay us, okay, fine, we continue working the same thing. And it was not actually a big amount, it was like a demurrage because we keep the vessel outside the anchorage. So it's, I can suggest in this kind of the situation, make damage control first, even if it's costly, try to have the best insurance you have available. And if it is the new offer, so just a little bit wait to offer in future.
Thank you so much for Mr. Charles. Very useful suggestions and sharing. Yeah, and now I saw so many new friends is coming, and our likes is more than 10,000 already. Thank you so much for everyone. If you you are interested in this topic, please also share your ideas and thoughts in our comment chat. And now, since so many new friends here, I would like to introduce a little bit for today's live show. Now, if you are with us in High Touch Live Show, our topic today is about the top CEO in China. I'm Vivian from High Touch, and today we are very honored today to have Mr. Sharaf, CEO from PV Lane Energy Group, with 40 years experience in global trade. Yeah, and also our professional expert, Julie, is our CPA and tax expert of High Touch. So I believe today is a very good opportunity to share more experience from Mr. Sharaf and for the globalization and also the global trend. So if you have any questions, don't forget to leave us your ideas in the comment chat. And also remember to follow High Touch channel, and we will have more sharings and more different topics of the live show sections. Thank you so much. Okay, so we can see the next questions. Okay, this is a questions is asking for Julie. Yeah, it says, Julie, is the globalization really over?
Yeah,
It's interesting questions.
because previously we talked about like how the insurance, the price will go up, and also we can see now like the oil price also goes up, and there's lots of things in the international world, things like the tariff before the tariff, and also there's some things others like the protectionism. So there's lots of things uncertainty in the world. So I think now many people maybe talk about like the deglobalizations. Instead of globalizations, people now maybe think about it's maybe the deglobalizations area. So I think that maybe it's not like the globalization is the end, but actually it's restructuring itself. It's much more like for example, like the supply base. Previously, the old model, maybe like China, is the world factory, and the key markets maybe in the United States. But nowadays, we see many different business or companies. They actually set the factories in Vietnam, in Indonesia, and maybe in Hungary. Many different places, and their markets can be from United States and now to Middle East or maybe Europe or Africa. So. In this way, I just see that maybe there is a really deep restructuring of the layouts of the supply base on one hand, and the other hand is the market. So I think maybe in the future, for the globalizations, actually it will go deeper and deeper, and it's not like to be the end, but actually to just let people to know about the game. If you really want to play the game, you really need to just say, know how to plan it ahead, to do the risk management, and also to do the different layouts of your supply base and also the markets. So you didn't look to the single markets, now maybe to diversify all this. So I think that is maybe probably to answer that questions.
Right. Thank you for Julie's quite useful suggestions. And we saw so many questions is waiting now. And David is asking for Chinese company to invest in Middle East and Europe. Which country you suggest as the first stop for an easy start? Okay, I believe David is a Chinese company who want to invest or
To go global.
Yes, I'm not sure which steps you are in. Maybe you can share more ideas or plans of you. And because she is asking which country you suggest as the first stop, as an easy start.
Easy start.
We cannot say there is no easy stop basically, but it depends on the cargo you're talking about. It's not that easy to enter to the new market. Most of the market right now is mature. So basically there is so many companies, so many people is working everywhere in the world, but it depends to the new products, the new companies, and the new system going to announce. So it is, if it is a service company, if it is a production facility, if there is a trading facility, and what kind of the business you are looking for. So it's not just jumping to the conclusion, which country shall I go? So what kind of product? What kind of the service? What is you want actually to go? So for each of them have a different answers and different
Right.
questions. So basically that's a way you ask a question. Give me an idea, for example, I wanted to bring some cargo in China for nearly 1.5 years now. We found so many buyers, and so still we are not that successful yet because the market is already mature. Whatever you think you know about the market, still there is so many people before you already doing it. If you want to bring something to Europe, the same way. We already based in Europe. We have an office in Germany, but also in that 3-4 years, we started a small business in Germany, moving up a little bit, but that fast, you're actually gaining so much profit. So it depends. I cannot say which one is the first. It depends to your cargo, but easily you can contact us to see what kind of commodity you have, what is the possibility you want to. If we can help, definitely we help. Basically, I'm not charging for my consultancy thing, but I'm ready to help you to see what is your have a goal. So before you move forward, maybe we can introduce, or Hightouch can introduce some consultant company in the Middle East or in the Europe to help you about that.
And also he's sharing, he's doing the trading and general commodities. This is his business.
So trading and general commodities, I think the best one you can start is the Middle East. First of all, it's a little bit tax friendly, especially in the UAE and also the other countries around it, like Qatar. Forget about this conflict right now, but I think that's a good start if you are starting the trading between this one. And as we mentioned at the beginning, the Middle East is like a bridge between the China and the Europe. So if you are based in the Middle East, you can be moving forward to the European future. But that's the best way the trading can go. Plus, as I said, you have to make sure your copy is full already in China. Internal trading is already a big business. I mean, the first time when I came to China, I went to the Beijing and the Emperor Palace, and it was full of Chinese. And I said, oh my God, there is so much tourists, but it's all of the Chinese. I said, these are tourists. The tourists coming from around China to actually visit the place. So China is already internally is a big market. If your cup is full, you actually find another one you want to export more, that definitely, that's the way you have to go to the Middle East.
Right. So we can see so many questions today. Thank you so much for our audience. It's very active.
The question is, how should you actually lower profit gain customer? This is not the way. This is not the way looking for.
Not the way to
No, this is
make a lower profit, right?
actually lower profit is always good, but you actually bring the expectations high. So actually you're competing with what we call in the trade like a dumping. So dumping, and you gain some customer, and then finally your expenses is too high, then you actually go to bankruptcy. It's not the way actually looking forward for the trading. So the trading first is the quality. Quality, word of the mouth. The people talk about your cargo. The people like your cargo. There is so many things. I can actually just go for the car business. I was just explaining days ago. He said, for example, Toyota introduced the cars, and the Lexus was the quality one. So in the beginning, when the Lexus announcing to the market, and you're comparing Lexus with the Mercedes, so everybody said Mercedes is better. But 2 days, you're actually in the same level because the quality is actually talking. So the people like the quality of Lexus and quality of Mercedes in the same way. So don't actually reduce the pricing to dumping the market. Try to make the quality is worse. The people follow the quality of cargo. And every brand is based on the quality.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
The product can tell the story and branding itself.
Right. Because we always meet some clients is asking about the please lower the quotation. Yes, just make little profit. But actually what we are doing is some kind of professional, and we need to focus on more. It's not about the easy things. It's something is professional and have the qualification. That's why this is the not pricing oriented. Yeah. So thank you so much for Mr. Shahrukh sharing, and Julie also. And this client is Kibasket, I think also depends on the market. Europe, I think, is
No.
already first.
I totally disagree with this one.
Mhm.
Because if we talk about even the China, let's say 2007, you look at the production in China, some of the quality was very good, it's still in the market. Some of the quality was just a price driven, it was cheaper one. So right now, I think it was last 5 years in China was there something to go for quality. And right now, everybody talk about the quality.
Yeah.
I have tested one car in Wuhan.
Mhm.
When I sit on that car, I have Mercedes myself, but when I sit in that car, I can say much comfortable, and the quality is much actually better. Can I say even if it is equal or something, but really was perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So in fact, when we talk about the products of China, how do you perceive the Chinese products today?
Today, I can say the quality is actually quality driven,
Mm.
which is fantastic. They did the best way to do that one. It's the way was looking and expanding to the market with the price driven is completely changed. So today, the quality in China, I can say, is one of the best. And you are looking to that way. We recently talked about one of the China car, which was really looked like the how we call it looked like Rolls Royce.
Mhm.
So it is fantastic car. You look at it, even I think in the social media, everybody's seen that one. So this kind of the image China already passing to the market.
Mhm.
So we are a quality people. The first time Korean introduced car in the market, it was not a good quality. The easy became a quality market. So China is that location right now.
Okay, so if we want to make the top 3 products in China, what do you think? What would they be?
Top quality cargo. So I can say so many things, but car is the main business. We talked about the solar system. It's one of
Solar
the big
system,
one. The
okay.
battery is already
Mhm.
good one. It's so many products, industrial version. So when the train working 700, 400 kilometers an hour up to 600 kilometers, this is quality.
Mhm.
It's not the speed only. That is, you can say everything here is good quality.
Yeah.
I see.
Thank you for Nikki. Yeah, Nikki said thank you for very insightful and thank you for sharing. Thank you for Nikki joining us also. Thank you for your questions. If you have any questions, you also can feel free to ask. Yeah. And one question is for Julie. How does the CRS merchants work exactly? Okay. So, yeah. So this is talking about for the CRS regulation.
Okay. I think that's if you're asking this part, I think you really know about the international tax. And actually, now previously I shared a little bit about Chinese taxations. Now the whole systems and the regulations are getting stricter and stricter. So so the first things that I think you guys can know about is the golden tax phrase 4, which is really powerful system. And the other thing is actually CRS. And that one, actually, I just deal with so many cases in the past year, like the 2025. And then there's so many cases about the CRS because people now actually receive the message from the tax authority and then just saying that we know that you have the overseas income and we need you to do the self-examination and declaration. So that is actually what we are facing now. You're asking about the mechanism, how it's work. I think maybe you just want to know why the tax authority know about the information about overseas income. Because, for example, like if I am a Canadian, okay, I live in China for a long time, and I always have like the salaries or maybe the dividends from Singapore, for example, like that one. And then maybe you think about why tax authority in China that know that I have the overseas income and why I need to pay tax in China, why I didn't pay that one in Singapore or maybe in Canada. Okay, so that's the case. The first thing I think I need to explain about the mechanism is this one, the CRS is really powerful tool to combat the tax evasions and to let different countries to work together to do the tax cooperation, sharing the information, exchanging the information. So, for example, like if I actually is a Chinese tax resident, but I open an account in Singapore, let's say. So Singapore's bank is the financial institution. So every year, the financial institution is going to collect my account information, like account balance, like the income, and then to just report my information to the local tax authority. And then the tax authority will find out that, okay, I'm not the tax resident in there. So they will exchange my information to maybe China. Okay, so that's why they get your information and let you to do the tax declaration. So that's the whole mechanism work. Now there's many countries just join into this group. You can see like, I think it's like over 140 countries already in this group. So they're actually doing is sharing those information. So it's no longer easy for you just to say like, I need to cover, okay, underreported my income. It is not that easy now.
Yeah. And I remember today also, I have one customer that asked me one question. I think is related to CRS because he have some profits in Hong Kong and he want to take the dividends. So he is asking if I take the dividends from Hong Kong, because as we know that Hong Kong, if we do the dividends, it's not have any tax in Hong Kong. But for him, does he still need to pay some tax in his country? So I'm asking this kind of question. I think it's related to CRS.
Yes.
Yeah. So for him, I think he also need to consider his country's taxation.
Yes.
Policies. Whether the countries is joining CRS agreement and anything also we need to focus in. So maybe we can have, if you're also interested in CRS topic, please also feel free to contact us. We can arrange our consultants to reply you one by one, because different case maybe the situation is different.
But everybody should believe everybody is watching everybody. So it's all of the information available around the world. So and you cannot do it the way that you do the business 20 years ago. It's a different world, different information passage, and all this information available. It became different kind of the way to do the business.
Okay. So speaking about the policies, in fact now China policies are really already not same as before. So when you want to investing in China, of course you need to focus on the policies and taxation regulations. So thank you so much for your questions also. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment chat so we can reply you one by one. And if you think this live show is useful and interesting for you and for your friends, please feel free to recommend to your friends. Okay, so we also have one Chinese audience is asking why is this information sent back to China? I think it's still in the CRS.
Okay, so still talking about the CRS. I directly answer is because China already participated into this group in about 2015. So they actually joined in that one, and they also set all the rules and the regulations about that one. So actually, the Chinese and the China and other countries, they do the exchanging information, these activities every year.
But still, as I know that some clients they didn't believe or they still have some want to make some risky, and for this one they won't know. Maybe they don't think this information will be transferred or to back to China, and because they will say that no have any my friends, everybody doing like this, but they don't get any problems. So maybe also for this part, Julie also can give some suggestions to our audience.
I think the really important part is that you need to, do the self-examinations of all this. The overseas income, you should notice about, okay, in the whole year, how much I earn. Okay, so is what the type of the income? Is that dividend? Is the salary? Okay, or maybe there's other type that you need to know by yourself. And also you need to know about your tax residency status. So which country you are in, okay? So there are different standards. So the first one I really suggest you is to look over of this one and to be really, really careful. Because when we've been shared about maybe they don't believe it, right? Actually, it's not about believe it or not, because that is a fact. It's happening. And many of our clients already received those messages. So I think it's a trend that you're not receiving it now. It doesn't mean that you couldn't receive it in the future. So it's about a trend that you really need to pay attention to.
Yeah, in fact, it's already happened for so many cases. Just maybe for someone they don't know about this cases.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we see we have so many likes continuous to giving us. Thank you so much for all the friends. Yeah, I think nearly more than 30,000 likes. Thank you so much. But please don't forget to follow High Touch channel. Yeah, we will have more and more different topics. And also, I want to tell you one thing is that in the coming next month, May 8th, we will have one live show. Also, it's about the Hong Kong and the Singapore companies. Yes, maybe you can see our topics in the screenshot also. We will going to have one live show in the beginning of the May about the Hong Kong companies and Singapore companies, because these days also have so many clients is asking what's the difference in fact between the Hong Kong and Singapore. So if you are interested in this topic, please also follow our channel and make the reservation. Thank you. Yeah, you can see in the screenshot and you can make the reservation directly. We will have our consultant and experts to share more information about these two areas. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can continue to answer our questions. There's so many questions still waiting for us. Yeah. And one question is still for Mr. Joel. Yes, how can we stay competitive?
Yes, again, is to be competitive is first you have to keep the quality the best you can. So, and if you are actually keeping your quality, your brand became competitive anyway. But since you already information to give it to us, it was like a trading company. So for trading companies, always you have to find the best supplier with the best quality. And then you are selling it to the buyer. So you are selling your quality of the cargo. And the best way of the business in the trading is to be transparent. So always in the trading business we say, this is what I purchased, this is what is my profit. And so everybody knows how this transparent I am in my business. And I'll make the maybe small amount of the money, but it's the way to forward. And most of the trading company work on the trust basis. So while I use the trading company, when I came to China, there were so many people actually called me as a person. So we wanted to buy this from China. We wanted to buy that from China. Even some of them, it was not in my business channel. But the reason they called me because they trust me. They trust me with the money. They trust me to send the money to me to become somebody they don't know. So if you're a trading company, you want to be competitive, first, you should be trustable. And the second, you have to find the best quality supplier. And then you start selling your product to your buyer. That's a way to be competitive. And then it's a long-term business because that person who is your buyer trusts you, even he knows or she knows you're buying it from the exact supplier. But these days it's easy to find out who is who. But again, he prefers to work with you because he trusts you. He trusts you visit the factory. He trusts you actually you have the money to give it to you. And those are the things which trading company these days can work together. Otherwise, it's already past 20 years ago. I don't show my suppliers. I don't show my buyers. This is not the way it's working. The way is today is just a trust basis and make sure the qualities you're passing is the same so the client come back to you.
I think that is a really good points is about because it's a little bit shocking to me. Like you keep transparency to
That's the way it's
to-
trading right now.
Yeah.
That's the way it's really trading. Because if you're not transparent, easily I can find out who is who.
Mm.
Some of the products is some difficult. For example, you go for the t-shirt, you may find so many, for example, suppliers.
Yes,
But then you go
exactly.
some sort of the different product, which is fertilizer, for example, or a big factory or a car business. That sort of thing, you already know who is the supplier.
Yes.
So in that kind of the trading business, you have to make sure you trust and you're selling something as an added value. If you're not selling at an added value, you're selling it only one time.
Yes, and because they can directly to find the supplier and then to not to do the business with the trading company.
Yes, and also the quality control, based on my experience in SGS. So when I wanted to buy the cargo, I actually defined, so I want to buy the cargo, I'm going to visit the factory. I think it was 6 months ago, somebody told us they wanted to buy a water generations equipment, basically. It was very shocked to me if there is something like that available. So basically, you make a water generated from the air. So it's like humidity became a drinkable water. And then we said it was actually nice for me to visit the factory, and it was really working. So basically, the humidity became the water. And then I told my buyers, this is really good. So this is something which is happening. I already visited, I tasted the water. So you can trust this supplier to buy that. Again, he came back to us and said, okay, we prefer you to do that because you can do the quality control as well. So there is so many ways traders can be in between. It's not only the who is suppliers, who is the buyer. The money-wise, the freight,
Exactly.
the finding the local people. And all these things you can actually sell, even if it is transparent.
Yes, especially nowadays that internet is so, like it's really convenient. It's really easy to find the suppliers. But you mentioned about you keep it transparent and also you add value on it.
Exactly.
And the value is about quality control or maybe other expertise, like the knowledge.
Make a difference.
Yes. And let the buyer to trust you. And I think that's really, really important and really insightful.
Yes, of course, it's very important to make yourself, which is different with your competitors.
Yes, exactly.
This is already make you more competitive. Yeah. Okay. So next question is, are there any favorable tax rules in Middle East? This is speaking about the tax rules. I usually can
Maybe I
share.
can ask this one because I've been living in Middle East. So basically, in Middle East, I can say, for example, UAE or Qatar, they told you there is no tax, but there is some sort of the hidden taxes, is maybe 5% or something. There is some taxes returnable. For example, you import cargo in UAE and you exporting, you take your tax back. So it's actually it's a free tax basically.
Yes.
But definitely you have to import it and export it. That's the way you actually save taxes. And if you want to export something to the UAE and selling it locally, there is some tax which charged. Still is not much. It's 5% up to, depend to the cargo, up to 7%,
Yeah, I think it's
something like that.
5%. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I think it's like the VAT is like 5% in UAE.
When you're selling it
Yeah.
locally. Yeah.
But I always hear some clients is asking, maybe they will think in Dubai, in UAE, says some have there some free zone.
Yes.
So they will ask, is there really free tax?
They thought about
the free
that.
zone is the really free tax, but again, I have to say when you wanted to start a business in different country, look at your country first. So recently we found out Hainan actually is a free zone. So you can start your company on Hainan, and then you have a tax-free, maybe get less taxes, I'm not sure the tax-free, but at least you pay less taxes. So I think it's going to be hard for the medicals. And right now the people actually started the business in Hainan. We established our own company over there as well. I think Hightouch can help you to do that. So let's first focus on your country. That's always my suggestion. If you copy food here, then you can look for some other business. You know the cultures, you know the people, you know the whole tax regime, you know the whole system in your country. And if you want to go to other country, exactly what we said earlier, it's better you find the expert can help you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's quite important.
Yes, because like for example, example, like the Middle East free zone,
Mm.
there could be many, misunderstandings for some Chinese company. They thought that if I set up in the free zone, it could be exactly, totally tax
Mhm.
exemption, like what you said about like the VAT, maybe 0%, right? Or maybe the corporation tax. Okay. So, but the really important point is that you import that goods and then export that, right? That is the assumption. If you are not doing it right, you just to sell it locally in the UAE or maybe Saudi Arabia. So if you do so, you still need to pay the tax of this. And in UAE, maybe it's 5%, and in Saudi Arabia, it's 15%. You still need to do that. So it could be really easy to go wrong.
So we can see that to find a very professional partners in that country is really important. Yeah, as Julie said, maybe there are so many misunderstandings maybe happen. We just focus on to get one information. But when you find one expert, they will explain more details to you and from different scenario and different situation. Yeah. So which way? This question is which way you prefer when you enter into a new market, looking for distributors or directly looking for clients? Okay, it's also a good question.
It's a really good question. So it's something I cannot answer it that easily. So which way is it better for you? It depends actually the partner you have. First of all, you have to visit the place you wanted to be. You have to gather all the information you needed from that country. You have to see what is the market compatibility, what is actually the market availability, what kind of product you are going to enter. Gathering information is the first thing. When you gather all this information, then you have to see, okay, what kind of the investment you want to do. Are you ready to invest in warehousing? Are you ready to invest in the, for example, take the clearing agent, moving your cargo and start doing it. It all depends to your goods. So if you are a car manufacturer in China, definitely you need distributor. You don't have to start the company over there to selling your car. But if you are the big manufacturer, you wanted to start SKD, for example, in a different country, still I cannot suggest go over there and start your factory over there. So it all depends to the product, all depends to this market information, all depends on the way of the payment, tax regime, and everything. Basically, the simple answer is, if somebody have the local knowledge, use them. If that local knowledge guy or the company, a good one, became your partners in future, then you have your client which is already matched with you. So start with a small business, start with a distributor, and find a way it's profitable for you. Then you move a little bit larger scale to any other scale. Another example is just I heard from one of the Chinese company wanted to do CKDs in Europe. So basically, they didn't go over there and find the location and start bringing the equipment. They find the company in another European country, which actually they do the production for them. So simply said, I have this automobile, I can give you all this equipment for you, and you can actually just build it up for me. Little bit costly, but actually you can stop it tomorrow. But if you invested in that country, you invested so much, you cannot even move back because it's already invested. You may lose a huge amount. Start the production line with some company available somewhere. Start with them. If it's working, then you can go for your investment.
Right, exactly like this. And I just now I saw that clients still keep asking one more questions about this. Yeah, this topic. Yeah, just we missing. Yeah, exactly this one. Which way you prefer when you enter a new market and looking for a distributor? This is just now the question he is asking. Yeah, and one more question. Please a little bit.
I think that one we already answered.
Yeah, this one already answered.
So the cross-border payment, I think,
and
is something
we're missing
everybody
one question just now, but let
He's
me,
a great businessman.
thank you so
There
much.
was something about the cross-border payment. I think we can talk about that topic. So basically, if you're planning to do the business with China, is it different if you're not planning business in Europe? So the cross-border business is between the banks, basically. If you are looking for the right channel, is a banking channel. So you can start doing with that one. But some of the country which is like the Middle East or the country on the sanction or those countries, they are finding the different ways, which is not safe way. I cannot suggest to anyone doing that kind of the business, but still, that's a trust coming. So you don't know this system, you're trusting the company, like for example us, then it's possible to work together. So we buy the goods, we're selling it to you, but definitely I have to know the buyer, definitely you should know the supplier, and also the trading company in between. But the best way for the cross-border payment is the banking system.
This is very important for the banking system.
Again, this is already premature in China. They have to push this one to the banking people in the government. So make sure that China is ready for that kind of the growth is already happening. This is really necessary. The banking system right now for the foreign country, foreign company is not that easy. Internal of China doing business is very easy. Cross-border with China is not that much easy.
So have you ever met some difficulties for the cross-border transaction?
It's not actually transactions only. It's, for example, I wanted to invest, buy an office, for example, here, very simple one. If I want to buy an office in Canada, I go to the banks, I ask for the mortgage. They don't even look at for my credit line because the mortgage is actually safety. Right? Maybe they ask you, okay, for the local Canadian, you will ask 10%. But since you are a foreigner, you have to pay 50%. But when I pay 50%, yeah, when I pay this one. But again, the mortgage for that business is just for the office. But they don't lose anything. They already receive 50% value, which they did. Usually the banks actually devalue most of the thing. But then there is no risk involved. But when you come to the China, you ask for this buying the office, that's the actual case we have. You said, no, it's foreign country, it's a foreign investor, so we cannot do that. It's a policy of the government. So I think the policy right now, the markets of the office and the housing in China is actually going down. But if you want to moving it up, that's a way to moving it up. So that's one small challenge. There is definitely so many challenges when you go to the trading part. So that's not trading. Right now we do basically export investments. So export is not understandable for the bank. Bank is visited to see the bill of lading, so the invoices, and make sure the cargo moving from this location to that location. But I don't want to move the cargo because I don't trust that guy. So I asked him to move it himself. So I said, my export price is this one, and that's what I'm going to sell. If you accept it, yes. If you don't accept it, it's your thing. So it's like a selling FOB. So even the China company said to me right now is FOB because the whole trading system, the whole freight system is not moving the way it used to be. So that sort of the things in the banking system should modify basically in a better way.
I see. Okay. Thank you so much for Mr. Chora valuable sharing. And we continue to see so many questions in this waiting. This is a question, how to use Hong Kong company and Singapore company in international trade. Okay, so if you miss it, just now we also mentioned that we are going to have one special, the next live show is exactly about the Hong Kong company and Singapore company. Yeah, this live show will be held in May 8th. Yeah, so you can follow our WeChat channel and our channel first to make the reservation now. We will share very details about the Hong Kong company and Singapore company, including the registration, the advantage, and also the bank account systems, and also the maintenance for both companies. Of course, we will do a very detailed comparison for these two kind of the company entities, so you can get the full information about in the next live show. So you cannot miss it. Please make the reservation now, and you can scan the QR code in the script to follow us and make the reservation. Thank you. And okay, this is another question. Are other countries more stricter? You mean what kind of the stricter is the taxation policies?
It's maybe to go over.
Yeah, maybe you can share more details about your questions.
That one?
Okay, what is the global trend?
So it's asking by the same person.
Yes, same person maybe is
Maybe two
asking
questions.
the taxation trend or the product trend or the business trend. So maybe you can share more details so that we can answer you more detailedly. Yeah. And still have some questions is living. Let's see. Okay, this is a Chinese questions. It's asking 现在做传统外贸还是电商好？Is it better to do the traditional
Trading.
foreign trade or the e-commerce? Yeah, which one is better and easy to start business?
You cannot say it's a different or easy. It's actually competing two different subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So e-trading it's already available. With so many people already doing it, and it's some of them is trustworthy, some of them is not. If you talk about the e-trading, it's always you rely on the pictures and also this one until you receive the goods. So one thing which is still good in China internally, you can receive the goods, you like it, you don't like it, you can actually just return it back. The same thing, for example, if I buy something from Costco in Canada, I don't like it, I can always return it back. But when it goes to the globally e-marketing, e-trading, it's not that easy because you already pay for the freight, you already moved something over there, and you don't know what actually you want. It's so if you talk about the B2Bs, it's not that easy. You trust that one, but the other kind of the trading we talk about today is just trading between the countries, trading between two big suppliers and buyers. I'm not saying the biggest could be one continent, it could be one complete vessel. But anyway, the trading is exactly the same. The documentation is exactly the same. So, and the value it depends on the company. It could be $10,000, could be $10 million. So that is still the same thing you have to solve. So trading is more reliable when it is the cross countries. But e-commerce, I think, is the best one when you talk about the locally. So ordering something from China, reaching to Canada, and look at it that one, you like it, you don't like it, that's a different way. It's happened to me also. I ordered something when I reached, but maybe misunderstanding, but they didn't like the product. I cannot return it anymore. So I just said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to do it anymore. So I can say e-commerce is basically should be local business, and advertising is still you can do it Alibaba or other platforms.
Marketing.
So what kind of the marketing? But when you go to the trading, even for 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever, I suggest visit the factory, look at the client. This one. It works to actually just take a ticket, come over to China, come to Canton first, and look at what exactly you find your supplier. This is the way it is. So don't start the business on the air, say, okay, it's 10,000, I'm going to do it, which we used to do it before. I remember I sent some cargo to Africa, the value was $17,000. So the cargo reached in Africa, the buyer did not pay me. The value of the lawyers and getting that cargo was much higher. So we forget about that. So these days is over now. You cannot do it that way. So that's one goes or go for the lawyer to try. So it's better you actually just take a ticket, come over in the Canton first. It's happening two times. It's happening 2 times a year, I think. It's right now and also spring
Yes.
autumn, yeah.
Have a spring one and autumn one.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
and tomorrow will be the first day of
First
the
day.
Canton Fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's also mentioned about there is different clients. One is B2B and the other one is B2C.
Exactly.
Yeah. So different clients have different preferences.
Mhm.
But it's not actually, it's like a general question. If you wanted to do the trading, for example, if you come to my office and ask for some sort of this kind of question, so I immediately know you are not that kind of the trading which is dealing with me. But then it's possible you go, for example, to some local business in China and ask, okay, I wanted 10, for example, cargo with this kind of the quality and send it to you. Yes, it's fine. It's half a container or something they can send to you. But still, you already come here, you already do your product, you already choose the product, and then you send it over. In China is already a big country for every business. You can come over here and buy something with your luggage and take it over. And also you can come here and take a vessel to buy from here. So it depends what kind of the level of business you want to do.
Right.
That's right.
Just now I saw one client his Chinese client is asking about the vehicle market and the car market. But he's asking, is there any market for the second-hand vehicle?
Definitely, there is a market for second-hand. Africa, Middle East, all these countries actually looking for the second-hand cargo. And right now, with the new regime of the China export, so some of the brand is not already allowed for exports. For example, like the big brand like Toyota, Mercedes, which is built in China, is for Chinese. But I see there is a way you export this one as a second-hand one. And also the Chinese brand is also a very good brand. But definitely there is a big market in Middle East, there is a big market in Africa. And I can say also in the South America as well. It is a huge market. Already talked to one of my friends saying in St. Kitts, and he said it's a small island in the Caribbean. I said this is actually the place which they have very, very old cars, and it's come out from the US. So when I told him the car value is $11,000-12,000, you have very nice luxury car. He was just shocked. He said, "Okay, can we send something?" I said, "Yeah, but you have to see what is the requirement to sending that one to you." So, but again, there is a market for it.
Okay, thank you. So this is a very positive reply. Yeah. Okay, this audience is asking, or maybe he met some problems. He said maybe before had one client, the goods already delivered to him, but the money he didn't pay about the payment. Yeah. So maybe this kind of the risk management. Also, what kind of risk management? How to deal with this kind
Things
of
can happen like that way. Yeah.
But first of all, you have to actually secure your business. That's the first thing you do. But even if something like that happened, my idea is just definitely contact the lawyers over there. I already had a good experience with the lawyers in Switzerland, in London, in UAE. You can always find a good lawyer. I'm not saying go to the high-end luxury lawyers doing this for you. There is so much people in that kind of the business you can find and help you to get that. But for sure, my suggestion, even your cargo value is 10,000. You pay 10,000 to the lawyers to become very zero for you. My suggestion is pay that 10,000, get your $10,000 back. Because that you should teach the lesson to the other side. You cannot do like that kind of the business.
Right. Of course, you also can get prepared for all the documentation, the supporting documents like the contracts between, the evidence.
I have to add also, so it's not always a good idea to go to the lawyer because they're expensive. So we try to avoid that one, but sometimes you need to do that. So basically, it's like a decision you are going to make. Am I ready to do that on myself? Am I ready to lose the money? Or shall I just go ahead and take that one? So it always is a man's decision how to do that.
Sometimes you need to find expertise to deal with that. Yeah. But because they're counting like hours, charging you on hours. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is how to ensure the secure flow and stable collections. I think this is similar.
That's a payment.
Yeah.
It's
So I think the best payment way, if you don't know the other side, is the letter of credit. It's expensive a little bit comparing with the other side, but also otherwise you just try to do it yourself. So come over, take the cargo and move. But basically what I do based on my experience, I'm always on the trustable people which already can work. We start with a small business and until we grow together to each other. I think it was 10, 15 years ago, we used to buy some cargo from my friend in India, and we became a friend for the business. So the first cargo is moved, it was not very good quality. We came to China, we met each other, he accepted there was a mistake, and then we became a friend. So from that time to the time we actually finished the business, it was before COVID, every time we received a cargo, and every time we just started some advance payment and the full payment. But that was the relationship. At the beginning, we already mentioned that integrity and relationship is the main secure business you can do. Otherwise, go for LC. Letter of credit is the best way you can do.
Yes. I see a really warm comment here.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes maybe you want to give up, but I think tonight's talk is good. So Really thank you for Mr. Sharaf and Julie. So very
It's a
valuable
pleasure.
insight and inspiring for us. Yeah. And because just now you mentioned about cash flow and the customer, I think it will also be sometimes we need to know our clients or our suppliers. We need to select them also.
Yeah, to do the management.
Right, to do the investigation, to really, like Mr. Sharaf said, we need to meet them, we need to talk to them, we need to know each other, yeah, to avoid any risk before to do the business.
Yes, to build a relationship with
Right.
them. Mhm.
Yeah, about asking about the Hong Kong company, as you mentioned already, you have another food topic in the Hong Kong company. It's something which I can say we already here, we have registered our company in China, mainland, and also we registered our company in Hong Kong. Based on the suggestion we got from the Viviana said which one of the company we needed. So we just give the whole idea of the business we are doing. Based on that idea, then the high touch we said, okay, this is the best way you can move forward. Have the better way to have some Chinese company take care of your cost management and everything, and then have the Hong Kong company to start in your trading business. And really helpful when we're talking about our trading right now, we say, okay, we have this one to do this small business, and we have this Hong Kong company to do the larger business.
Yeah, and this customer is that we set up the Hong Kong company for 2 months already, but didn't get my account yet. Okay, so in fact, the high touch can help you to analyze your situation and match the right bank for you to open a bank account. Because as we know that there are so many different banks for option now and different kinds of the bank account. Some bank account is quite easy to open right now, but of course it depends on your business and your situation. So please, you can contact our customer service. We can arrange the consultant to reply you to help you personally for your situation. Yeah.
I can add this one because when in the beginning, when we open a company in Hong Kong with high touch, we never faced this problem. You're already facing it because we hired the expert people and they asked us, okay, what you want? They did it for us. When you open a bank account easily, it's one of the easiest way we actually done it. So I think that go back again this one. If you wanted to do some business, hire the expertise. If you think you are actually paying, but it's really worth to pay that much to start your own business, and it's an asset-free business.
Yes, thank you so much for Mr. Charles. Yeah, I saw the time is by so fast.
Yes.
It's nearly 8+. So if you still have more questions, please feel free to ask us. Yes, we will reply you one by one. Now still so many questions is waiting. So I believe our audience tonight is very active and want to hear more experience sharing from Mr. Charles. So this audience is asking, is international trade getting harder and harder? And is this still worth to do?
Yes, definitely is worth to do that. But again, it's if your business is a trading business, so definitely it's getting harder and harder, and you have to adapt yourself to this business. If coming again to the examples, when I was in SGS, with my secretary used to do the typewriting. So, and the typewriting became sort of a small computer with a floppy disk. So it shall be hire the lady which is do the typewriting? No, she already learned how to do it with the computers. And that's kind of the business is growing. So the computer actually became more generation. All these people is actually, right now, there is no job for them. They already job for them. They are doing something else. With the whole AI system, the whole social media, the way actually the people is growing, we have to think the way we can actually work together. And trading is harder, but you have to bring added value to the business. When you bring the added value, definitely you have the market business and you have the people who trust you. And that's the way we work right now at the moment.
Yes. I think you always mention like add value. That's really good points because the people themselves are really creative. So they can maybe do more to try to do that. And is that worth doing so? It's not more like you need to see the benefits and the cost you need to take.
Yeah. Also, when you want to gain something, maybe you need to give something.
Yes, exactly.
And also the people is as an asset. It's any company who have the people working for them is an asset for them. So you can and start using your asset for actually find a way looking forward.
Right. And the intern says, would you give me some suggestions about how to get more profit? It's a very interesting question.
Still, we don't know what kind of the business you have, but you have a trading company, you wanted to make a profit, so bring the added value. When you bring the added value, you can charge more. All the consultancy people charge more because they actually bring added value to the company. You can bring added value to the cargo you are selling. As I said, be transparent, be something which is possible to do with other people, and then you can actually come to the profit is always like that. If you have your integrity, if you have the trust, people trust you, they will come more to you. You make a small profit, but then will be more clients.
I think the client always pay for the value.
I think it's much more like a sustainable things, right? Mentioned about how the relationship with your clients, your suppliers, and the leadership things. That's all like different links into the whole circle and into the full picture. So all of this just to make sure that we have a long-term and sustainable development.
Exactly. So whole business is actually based on this one. So this is, at the beginning you asked me the question, I'll give you three answers: adaptability, integrity, and relationship. These are the main things based on my last 40 years experience. So if you look at that one, and you can be transparent and bring some added value to the business, definitely your business is booming. And that's the way looking forward.
Yes, right. Exactly. So would you give some suggestions how to get profit? Is already
It's the
answered you.
same
questions, yeah. And my company is still not large company.
It doesn't matter if you're a large or small company. If you have to have the basic, the base of the company is the system which is working. If you have the base and you know what you wanted to do, then again you'll be reaching that point. So first of all, don't do everything around yourself. If it is a company, find the good people which is already have experience. You don't need to do everything by yourself. I have 40 years experience in the business. When I come to China, what I did, I hired the people. I hired the people which is expert. That hiring people also give me some suggestion on the company, on the consultancy business. So these are the way looking forward. I went to Germany, opened a company in Germany. What I did, I hired the people again. So because I cannot stay over there and do it. This is something you have to do. You cannot say, I wanted to do everything myself and I wanted to be profitable and I wanted to do this. It's everybody wants to, but that's the way looking forward. You have to do the investment, large or small. You have to invest on the people. You have to do it in the right way. That's the way looking forward.
Yes, I think every company is from the beginning, small one, and step by step,
yes.
create, to develop.
So it's not about that I want, but actually it's I give, right? So it is a bit change of that values.
We need to focus more on how we grow up, how we develop from small one to the big one.
Yes.
So the strategy and also like the key sharing from Mr. Shah just now mentioned, it's very inspiring, to all of our audience.
I can actually suggest something for the young people who definitely is watching right now. They wanted to start their own business. So basically, start with a big company. When I worked for SGS for 20 years, it gave me some sort of the idea. If the people living right now working in a high charge, all of them have potential to become a big invested company by themselves. Doesn't matter, same culture you do. So I came from SGS, I was the inspector, but I did not open an inspection company. I opened a trading company because I learned how to trade. So basically start with a big company. Go to one of the even government companies. Start gaining your experience. When you have those kind of experience, then you will know what kind of the business you got. And then you started that one. If you don't like your business, definitely you are not successful. You have to make sure you like your business. Unfortunately, some of the decisions we make when we are so young. So when you are 18 years old, when you are 20 years old, you go to university, you don't know what you wanted to be. But then the whole life actually push you to the way. And then you find out, okay, I prefer to be a musician or I prefer to be a lawyer. Why did I actually do not learn this one? So make a wise decision at what actually you like, what is your passion, what is your talent. But start definitely, even if you wanted to be lawyers, go with the big firm of the lawyers company. If you want to be a doctor, that the internship in a hospital will gain the experience. So you have to start from the scratch in a big company, gain an experience, and then start your own business. After, whenever you think you're ready, you're feeling it, you feel, I'm ready to do it myself. When I left SGS, I told everybody after 22 years, I wanted to leave. Everybody said, you are mistaken. 8 years to retirement, they give us the Rolex watch, everything. I said, don't do that. But I said, I'm ready. I cannot do with employees. What I do here right now, it not satisfy me anymore. I'm looking for the end of the month to get a salary. I want to actually be my own boss. I wanted to have my own business. So that's the reason I went. My wife told me, okay, we support you, whatever you want to do, so let's just do it. And that's the way after 22 years. You need the courage still to do that, but again, you got the experience and you got the feeling it's possible to do that.
It's really nice. I think it's very like because you need the passion.
Right.
Passion is the bottom line. Yeah. And also you need to figure out what your talent is, right? The passion, the talents make who you are. And then you just need to follow your heart and to chase your own career.
Sometimes maybe we think too much before we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, when we really move the first step, maybe we can feel that something we cannot imagine before. So maybe we can find our way.
Yes.
What we should do and how we should do it.
I'm not afraid of the changes. Changes is always inevitable. You have to do, you have to adapt yourself. So changes is always coming. Doesn't matter what you do, you may not doing it tomorrow because the way the world is moving right now,
Right.
you have to be ready for everything.
Exactly.
Adapt yourself with the business.
Exactly. Now the world is always changeable. But when we keep moving, when we keep moving forward, it's always will have more opportunities for us. So also to everybody who is in the live show, to our audience, really keep moving and we can stay strong. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for these questions. And I saw the time is very short now. It's nearly 8 o'clock. If you have any more questions, please quickly
Really short
share
answers.
to the screenshot because this time is it's very short now. Yeah, and the opportunities is really is waiting for you now. Any other questions? Please share to us.
I may actually just add something. It's just so do not afraid of the business. Do not afraid of the losing. Do not afraid of making mistakes. These are actually your base to grow up. You have to live with your mistake. You have to actually work what you are doing, and you have to learn from your mistake. Our company always said mistake will happen. First of all, mistake is the manager's problem. It's my problem if my staff is mistake because I did not teach them, because I did not put the system forward to do not make a mistake. But anyway, it's possible and it's happened and you cannot controlling it. But when you're having it, make sure the mistake never happen again. So make sure you put the system in place so all the thing is looking forward for the future.
It's also about the leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time when we learn a lesson, we will become more better.
Yes.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for all the audience. Thank you for your likes. We can see nearly 50,000 likes. Thank you so much. And don't forget to follow Haida's channel because we have more topics on the CEO in China. And also besides this CEO in China, we also have other topics. In the coming May, we will have one live show. It's about the Hong Kong company and Singapore company. If you still not make the reservation, so please now to follow our channel to get the reservation. You can scan the QR code in the screen. Yeah, to make the reservation now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you. Now you already make the reservation for the next live show. Thank you so much.
Okay, my last word is also if somebody wanted any question regarding PV leak energies or also the Vinify, we have a website. You can visit those one. I'm ready to assist. Send us the question on the email. Everything which is contact is already there. I'm ready to share whatever I have in China business and other. But definitely High Touch is the best to give you the consultancy.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr. Sharaf. And today is a very honor for us to have this live show.
Yes.
Yeah, and I believe our audience, yes, already learned a lot from today's and also Mr.
Thank you very
Sharaf's
much. Thanks for having
experience.
me.
It's really very valuable and inspiring insight. Yeah, thank you so much. And big thank you for Mr. Sharaf again and Ms. Julie.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so we need to say goodbye. We have to say goodbye today. So maybe we can see you next time. And yeah, so we can say goodbye to our audience. Have a nice
Thank you very much.
evening, wonderful
Thank
evening.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
And
Bye
bye-bye.
bye. Bye
We'll
bye.
see you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you. That's very good.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye bye. If you have any questions, feel free to contact High Touch.
Okay.
Oh, wow. You need to drink more water.
Wow.